Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive with us.
Excited to be here.
Today, we're going to be looking at the future.
Ooh.
The future of transportation and cities.
Sounds fun.
We'll be diving deep into this YouTube video called The World in 2050.
Right.
The Real Future of Earth.
Catchy title.
And it paints a pretty wild picture of what the world might be like in 2050.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine a world with double the cars?
Oh, my goodness.
And triple the fuel consumption?
Oh, wow.
So the big question that we're going to try to answer today is, how can we innovate our way toward a more sustainable future without, sacrificing our quality of life?
Right, because we don't want to go back to the Stone Age.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And it's not just about, switching to electric cars or something.
Right.
It's about totally rethinking how we design our cities and how we get around.
Yeah.
And I think this video does a really good job of showing us some really cool solutions.
Okay, so let's dive into the details then.
Yeah.
One thing that really caught my eye was Brazil's success with sugarcane ethanol.
Oh, yeah. They're doing some really interesting things down there.
Yeah, they've actually managed to cut their petroleum use by 40%.
Wow, that's amazing.
Which is pretty incredible.
It is.
But I have to admit, I don't really know that much about it.
Oh, okay. Well, sugarcane ethanol is super efficient.
Okay.
Because sugarcane is like a natural energy powerhouse.
Okay.
Like it's really good at turning sunlight into energy.
Ah.
So it's like nature's solar panel.
Okay.
And it can produce way more sugar per acre than any other crop.
Wow. So more than corn.
Way more than corn.
Wow.
And then you take all that sugar and you ferment it into ethanol, which can then be used as fuel.
Oh, wow.
It's so efficient that you get something like 7 times more energy out than you put in.
Wow, 7 times.
Yeah.
That's way more than corn ethanol. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a huge difference.
So why aren't we all using sugarcane ethanol then?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, there are a couple of reasons. First, sugarcane needs a tropical climate to grow.
Oh, okay.
So you can't just grow it anywhere.
That makes sense.
And second, if we tried to scale up sugarcane ethanol production globally, it would take a massive amount of land.
Yeah.
And that could lead to deforestation and less land for growing food.
Right. We only have so much land that's good for farming.
We do.
Yeah, and we got to use it wisely.
Exactly.
So what's the solution then? Are there other biofuels that we could use?
Well, the video mentioned something called second-generation biofuels. Have you heard of those?
I think I have, but I'm a little fuzzy on the details.
Sure, no problem.
Can you remind me?
So second-generation biofuels are made from plants that we don't eat, like switchgrass or wood chips.
Oh, okay.
And these plants can grow on land that's not good for growing food.
That makes sense.
So we're not competing with our food supply.
Right.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
They're using something called synthetic biology
Whoa.
to make these biofuels even more efficient.
Okay, synthetic biology.
Yeah.
That sounds really high-tech.
It is pretty high-tech.
What does that even mean?
Well, basically, they're engineering yeast to act as tiny factories.
Oh, wow.
These engineered yeasts can take glucose from plants like switchgrass and turn it into hydrocarbons.
And hydrocarbons are
the main components of gasoline and diesel fuel.
Oh, wow. So we're talking about brewing fuel from yeast?
Kind of, yeah. It's a similar concept to brewing beer.
Huh.
Except instead of making alcohol, these engineered yeasts are producing hydrocarbons.
That's so cool.
And get this, the fuel literally floats to the top of the container.
What?
Yeah.
So you can just skim it right off?
Exactly.
Okay, I have to admit, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
I love how they're using nature to create sustainable solutions.
Me too. It's amazing what nature can do.
But it gets even crazier, right?
Oh, yeah.
They talk about artificial photosynthesis in the video.
Yes.
That just sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But researchers are actually making some really incredible progress in this area.
Wow. So how does it work?
Well, imagine using simple components like special light absorbers and catalysts to split water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. Then you can use the hydrogen as a clean fuel source.
Oh.
And the only byproduct is oxygen.
So you're basically creating fuel from just sunlight and water.
That's the idea.
That's incredible.
It is pretty amazing.
So we could have like fuel-producing panels on our roofs?
Not quite yet.
Oh.
There's still some technical hurdles to overcome.
Okay.
And we're not talking about generating electricity like solar panels.
Right.
Artificial photosynthesis is about making hydrogen as fuel.
Oh, okay.
But the potential is huge.
Yeah, it is. This is all so fascinating.
It is.
But I feel like we've been talking a lot about fuel. But doesn't the way we drive, and how our cities are designed, doesn't that play a big part too?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Even with all these awesome advancements in fuel technology,
yeah,
we can't ignore the fact that our transportation systems are really inefficient.
Right.
Remember that crazy statistic from the video?
Which one?
The average American spends 38 hours a year stuck in traffic.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I feel like I lived that statistic.
I know, right?
It's awful.
It's a huge waste of time and fuel.
And it's really bad for the environment.
It is.
So what can we do about it?
Well, the video talks about some really cool solutions like intelligent roads and 3D mapping. Imagine if your car could choose the most fuel-efficient route, taking into account traffic conditions, topography, even stoplight timing.
Wow, that's amazing. It would be making all these tiny little decisions along the way.
Exactly.
To save fuel. Yeah. That's really smart.
It is very clever.
But are these intelligent roads even a thing yet?
They're being tested in different parts of the world.
Oh, wow.
And the technology is advancing really quickly.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
What about self-driving cars?
Oh, yeah. Those are getting a lot of attention these days.
Do you think those could actually make our roads safer and more efficient?
I think they have the potential to.
Yeah.
If we can eliminate human error, which causes a lot of accidents and traffic jams, then we should see a big reduction in fuel consumption and emissions.
That makes sense.
Plus, self-driving cars can talk to each other.
Oh, wow.
And to the intelligent road infrastructure.
Okay.
So we can optimize traffic flow and prevent accidents.
So basically, our cars could be driving themselves.
Exactly.
While talking to each other and talking to the road.
That's right.
To figure out the best way to get around.
Pretty cool, huh?
That's amazing. I always thought self-driving cars were more like sci-fi than reality.
I know it seems futuristic.
Yeah.
But the technology is getting there.
Yeah, the video showed some pretty convincing examples of how it could all work.
Yeah, there was some really cool footage of those self-driving robots navigating that obstacle course.
I loved that part.
Remember the part about platooning?
I don't think so.
It's where trucks drive really close together, like a cycling peloton, to reduce wind resistance.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, they said it can save up to 10% on fuel costs.
10%? That's huge.
It is, especially for trucking companies.
Yeah, imagine the impact if we could apply that to, all vehicles.
That would be amazing.
Speaking of big ideas, the video took us to a place I never expected.
Where was that?
The Arabian Desert.
Oh, yeah. Masdar City.
Masdar City.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's like a whole city built from scratch with the goal of being carbon neutral.
Which is a pretty ambitious goal.
It is, especially for a city in the desert.
Yeah, but they're really committed to sustainability.
I mean, it's kind of ironic, isn't it?
What is?
That a country that's super rich from oil is trying to be a leader in sustainable city design.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
But it also shows that even places that have relied on fossil fuels are starting to see the need for change.
Yeah.
Times are changing.
So tell me more about Masdar. What makes it so special?
Well, first of all, cars are banned on the surface.
What?
Yeah, they have this underground transportation system.
Oh, wow.
That takes people all over the city.
So no traffic jams?
Nope.
That's amazing.
And the streets are designed to capture cooling breezes.
Oh, that's so smart.
And the buildings are shaded and powered by solar panels.
Okay.
So it's a super comfortable and energy-efficient environment.
That sounds awesome. I love the idea of a city designed for people, not cars.
Exactly.
But isn't it a bit of a utopian dream?
What do you mean?
Can we really create something like Masdar in other parts of the world?
That's a good question.
Especially in cities that are already really built up.
Yeah, that's a big challenge.
Right.
But even if we can't copy it exactly, Masdar is a really valuable testing ground for innovative ideas.
So it's like a living laboratory for the future of sustainable cities.
Exactly.
I love that.
It's a really cool project.
It is.
And we're going to be talking more about how those ideas could be applied on a larger scale in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, I'm really eager to hear more about that.
Me too.
All right, so stay tuned, everyone.
We'll be right back.
So we've talked about all this amazing technology.
It is pretty mind-blowing.
Biofuels cities in the desert, designed to be carbon neutral. But it seems like there's a bigger question here, right?
Yeah, what's that?
Is technology alone enough?
Oh, that's a great point.
Solve the sustainability problem.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Technology is important, of course.
Yeah.
But it's only part of the solution.
Okay.
We can't just invent our way out of this mess.
Right.
We need to change how we think and how we behave, too.
Yeah. So you're saying even if we all had electric cars and self-driving trucks,
Yeah.
if we were still stuck in traffic all the time,
Exactly.
it wouldn't really matter.
It wouldn't solve the problem.
Yeah, like having a fancy kitchen but never cooking a healthy meal.
Perfect analogy.
Thanks.
We need to rethink our relationship with cars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially here in the U.S.
Yeah.
We're so car dependent.
It's true.
We've designed our entire cities around them.
Right, and that's led to sprawl and congestion.
Exactly, and a bunch of other problems.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people would be hesitant to give up their cars.
I understand that.
Yeah, it's a symbol of freedom for a lot of people.
I get it, but what if we thought about freedom in a different way?
Okay.
What if real freedom meant having options?
Right.
Like the freedom to choose how you get around without being trapped in traffic.
Yeah.
Breathing polluted air.
Right.
Or spending a fortune on gas and parking.
That's a really interesting way to look at it.
It is about having choices.
So are you suggesting that we need to, like, shift away from individual car ownership?
I think that's part of it.
Okay.
And embrace more sustainable ways to get around.
So, like, public transportation.
Yes.
Cycling, walking.
Exactly. All those options.
Yeah.
They can be more efficient and affordable and better for our health and the planet.
But to make those options work, we need to invest in better infrastructure, right?
Absolutely.
So things like dedicated bike lanes,
yes,
safe sidewalks for pedestrians, and reliable public transportation.
Think about Masdar City.
Okay.
One of the reasons it's so energy efficient
is
that it was designed for walking and public transit.
Right. They banished the cars underground.
They did.
And made the streets really pedestrian-friendly.
Exactly.
That sounds so nice.
It is a really pleasant environment.
Yeah, I've been to cities where walking is just a nightmare.
Oh, no, you mean?
Tiny sidewalks.
Yeah.
Tons of traffic.
No shade.
Yeah. It makes you just want to get in your car.
I know, even if you're only going a short distance.
Yeah, exactly. But creating walkable cities, especially in places that are already really built up, it seems like a really difficult task.
It's definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
But it's not impossible.
Okay.
And the benefits go way beyond just reducing our reliance on cars.
How so?
Well, when you design a city for people, not just vehicles, you create a much more vibrant and livable space.
In what way?
Well, people are more likely to interact with their neighbors, support local businesses, and get more exercise.
So it creates a stronger sense of community.
Exactly.
Yeah, instead of everyone being isolated in their cars.
Right.
People are out and about connecting with each other.
And with their surroundings.
Yeah, I love that.
It's a much healthier way to live.
Okay, but let's be realistic.
Okay.
Not everyone can afford to live in a fancy, futuristic city like Masdar.
That's true.
Yeah, what about the economic side of things?
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that sustainable transportation is accessible to everyone.
Regardless of how much money they make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Public transportation needs to be affordable and reliable.
Right.
And we need to incentivize people to switch to electric vehicles.
Okay.
Or to choose cycling or walking instead of driving.
Yeah, because it shouldn't be a luxury to be able to get around your city.
I agree.
Without polluting the air or going broke.
It should be accessible to everyone.
Yeah, but this requires a pretty big shift, doesn't it?
It does.
It's not just about building new infrastructure. It's about changing people's habits.
Yes.
And their whole way of thinking about transportation.
You're right. We need to move away from this idea.
Yeah.
That owning a car is absolutely necessary.
Okay.
And embrace a more holistic view of mobility.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we need to recognize that transportation isn't just about getting from point A to point B.
Okay.
It's about connecting people.
Yeah.
Fostering community. And creating a healthier and more sustainable future for everyone.
That's a really beautiful way to put it.
Thank you.
So how do we get there?
That's the big question.
Yeah, what are some concrete steps we can take?
Well, it's going to require a multifaceted approach.
Okay.
Involving government policies, technological innovations, and individual actions.
So we all have a part to play.
We do.
Okay.
We need policies that encourage sustainable transportation.
So like investing in public transit.
Yes.
Creating incentives for electric vehicles. And maybe congestion pricing in cities.
That could be helpful.
Okay, so it's not just about leaving it up to individuals.
Right.
To make the right choices.
It's about creating a system that makes those choices easier.
Yeah, and more accessible.
Exactly.
But individual actions are still important, right?
Of course.
We can all choose to walk or bike more often.
Absolutely.
Or take public transit.
Yeah.
We can support businesses that are committed to sustainability, and we can advocate for policies that promote a cleaner transportation future.
All of those things make a difference.
So it sounds like we all have a role to play.
We do.
Whether it's making changes in our own lives or pushing for bigger systemic change.
It's a collective effort.
I'm feeling kind of inspired, actually.
That's great.
It's easy to get overwhelmed by the scale of the challenge.
Yeah.
But hearing about all these solutions and seeing people working together, it gives me hope.
Me too. It's a reminder that we're not powerless.
Yeah.
We have the knowledge, the technology, and increasingly the will to create a better future.
It's just a matter of harnessing those resources and working together.
That's the key.
That's a great message for our listeners.
Thanks.
But before we wrap up, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on something else from the video.
Okay, what's that?
They talked about research and development, or finding new solutions.
Yes.
What are some areas that you think deserve more attention?
It's a good question.
And investment.
We made a lot of progress in areas like electric vehicles and renewable energy. But there's always room for improvement.
Of course.
I think battery technology needs more attention.
Okay. Why is that?
We need batteries that are more efficient.
Okay.
Last longer.
Yeah.
And are made from sustainable materials.
So batteries that can power our cars for longer distances.
Yes.
Charge faster. But also don't rely on rare earth minerals or other harmful materials.
Exactly. We need to find ways to recycle those batteries too.
Yeah, so we're not creating a new waste problem.
Right.
What else?
I think lightweight materials have a lot of potential.
Okay.
Imagine building cars and planes out of materials that are super strong.
Yeah.
But much lighter.
That would be amazing.
It would significantly reduce fuel consumption.
Are there any specific materials that you're thinking of?
Researchers are looking at a lot of different possibilities.
Like
advanced composites made from carbon fiber and bio-inspired materials.
What are those?
Materials that mimic nature,
Okay.
like spider silk or butterfly wings.
Oh, wow.
These materials have incredible strength-to-weight ratios.
So we could build lighter and more fuel-efficient vehicles.
And buildings.
Yeah.
It's amazing what we can learn from nature.
It is. I love that idea.
Me too.
It really highlights the need for collaboration between different fields.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need engineers working with biologists, chemists, architects.
To find the best solutions.
It's about breaking down silos and working together.
This has been such a thought-provoking conversation.
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I've learned so much.
That's great to hear.
About sustainable transportation and the potential for innovation.
There's a lot happening in this field.
There is. What's one key takeaway you'd want our listeners to remember?
I think the most important thing to remember is that the future is not set in stone.
Okay.
We create the future through our choices and actions.
So you're saying we all have the power to shape the future of transportation.
Yes, we all have a role to play.
And create a more sustainable world.
Exactly. It's not about waiting for someone else to fix things.
Right.
It's about taking action.
Both individually and collectively.
Yes.
To make the changes we want to see.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I love that idea. It's empowering.
It is.
To think that we're not just passive passengers.
We're the drivers.
Yeah, we have the power to choose our destination.
And to navigate the road ahead.
That's a great analogy. This has been a truly insightful conversation.
It has.
But I know we need to wrap things up.
Okay.
Before we do, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just that it's been a pleasure talking with you.
Likewise.
And I hope our listeners have found this deep dive as interesting as I have.
It's interesting how this deep dive has kind of shifted gears, you know?
Yeah.
We started out talking about, really cool technology.
Like biofuels, yeah.
Yeah, biofuels, self-driving cars. But now we're talking about how we want to live and what we value.
I think that's a really important evolution of the conversation.
Yeah.
Because ultimately the future of transportation isn't just about technology.
Right. It's
about the kind of society we want to build.
Yeah, it's not just about replacing gas guzzlers with electric vehicles. It's about questioning why we need to be on the move all the time.
Right.
Isolated in our little metal boxes.
Yeah, think about all the hidden costs of our car-centric culture.
Like what?
All the time we waste stuck in traffic.
Oh my God, yes.
The stress it puts on our lives. The impact on our health
Yeah.
from lack of exercise and air pollution.
And the environmental consequences.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Even with electric cars, we're still using a lot of resources.
Yeah, to manufacture them.
To mine the materials.
Exactly.
Dispose of the batteries.
It's a big footprint.
Yeah, so this conversation has to go beyond technology and really look at our values.
Well, what do we prioritize as a society?
Yeah, like, do we value convenience above all else?
Yeah.
Or do we prioritize things like community, clean air?
A healthy planet.
Yeah, those are really tough questions.
They are.
But they're important questions to ask.
We have to ask them.
It feels like we're at a crossroads.
I think you're right.
Do we keep going down this road of...
More cars?
Yeah, more cars, more roads.
More congestion.
Or do we choose a different path?
And that's where the real opportunity lies.
Yeah.
In choosing a different path.
In reimagining.
Yeah, rethinking how our cities work.
Yeah, our transportation systems.
Our lifestyles.
Yeah, but how do we actually do that?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah. Seems so overwhelming.
It is a big challenge.
To change our habits.
Yeah.
To challenge powerful industries.
To rethink entire urban landscapes.
Where do we even begin?
Wait, I think it starts with each of us.
Okay.
The choices we make every day matter.
Like what kinds of choices?
Yeah. Do you drive when you could walk or bike?
Okay.
Do you support businesses that are trying to be sustainable?
Yeah.
Do you vote for policies that promote public transportation and clean energy?
You're right. Those everyday choices can really add up.
They do. They send a signal
to businesses.
To policymakers.
That people want change.
Exactly. Don't underestimate the power of collective action.
Yeah, it's empowering to think that we can actually make a difference.
We're not just along for the ride.
We can be part of the solution.
We can be the drivers of change.
And that brings us back to that big question from the video.
Yeah.
Can we create a future where both our planet and our quality of life can thrive?
I believe we can.
You do?
I really do. It won't be easy.
No.
But it's possible.
Yeah.
We have the knowledge, the technology, and I think more and more people are recognizing the need for change.
That's encouraging.
This whole conversation has been really inspiring.
It has.
I've enjoyed exploring these ideas with you.
Yeah, me too. And I hope our listeners have found it informative as well.
I hope so too.
What's the one message you want our listeners to take away from this deep dive?
I want them to feel hopeful.
Okay.
The future is not predetermined.
Yeah.
It's something we're creating together.
Through our choices and action.
Every step we take matters.
So we're not just predicting the future.
We're creating it.
I love that.
It's an exciting time to be alive.
It is. Well, on that note, we want to thank you all for joining us on this journey into the future of transportation and cities.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you enjoyed the ride.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.